Good morning everybody, this is Mujibur Rahman from Raghu International School. Well, what did we learn in our previous video? We learned in our previous video all about how to frame the positive sentence in the simple past, how to frame the negative sentence in the simple past and their formulas, what are the rules are applicable when we want to frame those sentences in the simple past, right? So before that, what did we learn? We learned that which form of the verb that we have to use in the simple past and which auxiliary, I mean how many auxiliaries and which auxiliary that we actually use in the simple past that we all learnt, right? What is the which form of the verb that we use in the simple past? We use the simple past form of the verb in the simple past, right? And afterwards, next, which auxiliary do we use in the simple past? We use did auxiliary in the simple past. Okay, we have only one auxiliary in the simple past, that is did, right? And we use this did even for all the main pronouns like I, you, we, they and he, she, it, right? For all these pronouns we use only did auxiliary because we have only solitary auxiliary in the simple past, right? I hope everyone has understood how to frame positive sentence when you talk about the simple past, and also we must remember the uses of the simple past. When do we actually use the simple past? We must know that. Okay, without knowing that we can't use this, because we need to know the situation when we need to use the simple past, right? So let us once again recall it. When do we use? So when we use the simple past, when we talk about the action when it started and completed in the past and we have no connection with now. Have you understood? When we talk about the action when it started and completed in the past, we have no connection with now. Okay, when we talk about that situation we use the simple past. And also the keywords that we learned in our previous videos, that yesterday, last week, last month, last year, etc. Okay, these those were the some of the keywords that we learnt, that we have to use them in the simple past tense. And also how to frame the positive sentence we learnt in the simple past, right? How to frame the positive sentence, what is the formula? Okay, let us recall once formula. Okay, subject plus V1 plus object is the formula to frame the positive sentence in the simple past, right? Next, as well as we wrote many examples on the board, and I also asked you people to write some examples on your own by using the formula which we use in the simple past in the affirmative cases, right? And I hope everyone has done that homework. And afterwards, what did we learn? Afterwards we learnt about how to frame the negative sentence in the simple past, right? So what is the formula that we have to frame the negative sentence is subject plus did plus the infinitive form of the word plus object. Okay, so this is the formula that we use to frame the simple frame the negative form, negative questions, sorry, negative sentences in the simple past. Next, in this video we are going to learn, so far what we have learnt to frame the sentence in positive, I mean in affirmative case, and we have learned to frame a sentence in negative, right? So we have learned these two so far. In this video, even we need question, right? So we know positive answer and negative answer. Now what do we require? We require a question. In this video we are going to learn how to frame a question in the simple past. Usually how do we frame question in the simple past? So it is an interrogative, right? Interrogative is known as a question. Now again we have a formula, certain formula to frame the sentence sorry, to frame a question, not sentence, to frame a question, we have a formula, certain formula. So let us see what is the formula first. So the formula is did plus subject plus v1 plus object. Okay, so and also question mark, we should not forget question mark, because as it is a question, the question mark indicates the question, right? Here did, so we have only one auxiliary in the simple past, that is did, that we have to use while framing the question. So always remember, the questions must start with auxiliary. Okay, always the questions start with auxiliary verbs. See here, did auxiliary, right? So in the formula itself we have written that did plus subject. Okay, after the auxiliary subject should be there, after subject v1, I mean the infinitive form of the verb should be there, after the infinitive the object as well as follows, and in the end there should be a question mark. Okay, this is the formula. So in place of subject, what is subject, you may get confused, noun or pronoun you can take. Okay, noun or pronoun. So in all the example sentences we have taken all pronouns. Okay, let us once again look at the formula clearly. So as I have told you, the questions always start with auxiliary verbs. Even in this simple past we have auxiliary did, right, as a helping verb. Now let us start the question with did. So here the formula is did plus subject plus v1 plus object. Here v1 refers the infinitive form. Okay, in place of subject you can take noun or pronoun. This is the formula that we use to frame interrogative sentence in the simple past. Okay, in the sense the question forms. Next, examples. Let us see some examples. As for the formula, let us frame some questions. Okay, as for the formula, did we place, right? We place did in the place in the beginning, as we have learned that questions always start with the auxiliaries. So we place did in the beginning. After did, as per the formula, subject should be there, so we have taken pronoun. Next, what should be there? The v1 form of the verb. Here we cannot use again the simple past form of the verb. Gave, okay, again went. Okay, this v2 we cannot use in the question as well as in the negative sentences, right? In our previous video that we learnt, we should not use the simple past form of the verb in the negative cases and also in interrogative cases. After subject only there should be the infinitive form of the verb, in the sense v1, right? So we have used v1 and you my book yesterday, again the object, and it ends with the question mark. Again the keyword is here to help you to identify which tense is the sentence in. Okay, next. Okay, here the question started with did, right? So let us read it out question once. Did I give you my book yesterday? Question mark. Have you understood? Now let us look at the second example. Here I have used even the WH word. Okay, so you may use the WH words to inquire, to make the question effective, to get the clarity about somebody. Okay, here when we have used, when WH I have used, if you wanna use any WH word, that you have to place in before the auxiliary. Here we have placed, right, before the auxiliary we have placed WH word, like let us read out the question here. When did you wake up last morning? When did you wake up last morning? Question mark. Okay, this is the question. So even without WH word, even you can frame the question, no issues. Did you wake up last morning? Okay, to get the confirmation, I mean the clarification when actually that action happened, then you can use when WH word too, like when did you wake up last morning. Okay, question starts with either the auxiliary, either with WH word and auxiliary together. First of all WH word, after the auxiliary, after subject, next the infinitive form of the verb. If you want to start the auxiliary, sorry, if you want to start the question with WH word, and also here you can write WH plus did plus subject plus V1 plus the object. Okay, yeah, as we have learnt here, we cannot use here the simple past form of the verb. Here we use only the infinitive form of the verb. Do remember that. Okay, when did you wake up last morning? When did you wake up last morning? Next, here we have used the formula WH we have placed, and also did auxiliary we have placed in the sentence in the beginning after the WH word. Then subject we have taken, and as per this formula we have used the V1 verb and the object as follows, and last morning is a keyword and it ends with question mark. As well as the third one is why did they tell you about this. Even here we have used WH word to frame the question. Okay, if you want to use any WH word, that you have to place before the auxiliary, right, as we have used here. So auxiliary is here, before auxiliary we have placed WH word, and after auxiliary there should be the subject. Here we have taken they pronoun as a subject, after subject there should be V1. So here the object follows as usual, and object follows as usual, and it ends with the question mark, right. So what is the question finally? Why did they tell you about this? Next question, it starts with auxiliary verb. So what is the question? Did we reach early last week? Did we reach early last week? Here again we followed the same formula, did plus subject, I mean we have taken pronoun here. After pronoun we have taken V1 form of the verb, and early last week is the object. Last week is again the keyword in the sentence, and it ends with the question mark, right. Have you understood? Okay, even here, even in the interrogative forms we use the same auxiliary even for the pronouns he, she, it. Okay, so here for the pronoun I, you, we and they, for all these four pronouns we used only did auxiliary to start the question, I mean to frame the question, right. Even for the rest of the pronouns he, she, it also we use only did auxiliary to frame the question. Okay, but in the present simple we use does auxiliary to frame the questions for the pronouns he, she, it, right, and we use do auxiliary to frame the questions for the pronouns I, you, we, they in the present simple, because there we have two auxiliaries, and this and those two auxiliaries have been taken to those particular pronouns, have been used to those particular pronouns, right. But here we have only one auxiliary, that is did, so we use did auxiliary to frame the questions for all the pronouns I, you, we, they pronouns, and also he, she, it pronouns. So let us see the examples here. The example is, did she prepare sweets last year? Okay, did she prepare sweets last year? Even here don't forget we use only V1. Okay, V2 we cannot use, we use only V1 form of the verb, in the sense the infinitive form of the verb. We cannot use the simple past form of the verb in the question as well as in the negative case in the simple past tense. Okay. After this, after didn't auxiliary, there we use V1. After subject, here we use V1 in the question form. Okay. The example, let us see. Did she prepare sweets last year? Okay. Here did we have used as per the formula. After did, she pronoun we have taken. After V1 is here sweets last year. Even last year is the keyword, and also sweets last year is an object, and it ends with question mark, right? Next, the next example is, did he drive the car last month? Even for the pronoun he, we use the same auxiliary as we have learnt earlier. Did he drive the car last month? Again the question starts with did auxiliary. After did there is a subject. After subject there is the infinitive form of the verb. The car last month is the object, and last month is a keyword in the sentence, so which can help you to identify that the sentence is in the simple past. Okay. Did he drive the car last month? I hope everyone has understood this. Next, let us move to the last example, that we have used it as a subject. Okay, it pronoun as a subject in the sentence, and even here the question starts with did, and after did what should be there? There should be a subject. Okay, in place of subject we have used, now we can use noun or pronoun because they are the subject, they play the subject role. Here we have taken pronoun it in place of subject. So after it what should be there? There should be the infinitive form of the verb, which means V1. So V1 we have placed, and on you last evening is the object. Again last evening is the keyword in the sentence. So finally the example is, did it fall on you last evening? So here it may refer the branch of the tree. Okay, did it fall on you last evening? Usually when there is windstorm, okay, when it rains, there would be the heavy breeze and windstorm, right? So I mean, due to the effect of that, in some of the areas maybe the branches of the tree may break and they fall on the cars, on the vehicles, and I mean in some cases even on people, right? So here it refers branch of a tree. It refers branch of a tree. So here we asked question, did it fall on you last evening? Did that, here it refers, we can use directly that branch, I mean the noun, we can say, did a branch of the tree fall on you last evening? Okay, this is the question. So here, as I have told you, it refers the branch of a tree. Did it fall on you last evening? Ends with question mark. Again last evening is a keyword in the sentence. So we have used the formula which we need to use to frame the questions. Okay, this is all about interrogative form, how to frame question in the simple past. So I hope everyone has understood. What you have to remember is, once again I would like to remind you that what you have to remember, after pronoun, okay, in the question form, after auxiliary, okay, before the WH word, after the auxiliary, after the subject, you have to use only the infinitive form of the verb. So you cannot use V2 form of the verb, I mean the simple past form of the verb you should not use. It is incorrect. In the question form the same formula is applicable, and also in the negative case. Okay, when we want to frame the negative sentences, after didn't you have to use only the infinitive form of the verb, even in the negative cases, as well as in the question. Okay, did I gave you, we cannot say did I give you, because only infinitive form we have to use as per the formula. Do remember this and don't commit mistake while framing the question, as well as when you deal with the negative sentences and also the interrogative. In these two cases we use the infinitive form of the verb, and only in the positive case we use the simple past form of the verb in the simple past. Okay, this is a formula. So look at this formula, and these are the examples. And if you want to use the WH word, so WH word we have to use before the auxiliary that we have already taken here. So in the same way, by using this formula, taking the reference of these examples, you can frame some questions on your own. Okay, this is the homework. Frame some questions on your own using this formula and referring these examples. So before that, copy these examples and formula so that you will get an idea to frame the questions by using that formula. I hope everyone has understood. Copy this.